alaikum and welcome to Titli's Busy Kitchen with me, Titli Nihan. If you do a little bit of research, you'll soon discover that nobody really knows why beef Wellington is called beef Wellington. But one thing is clear, you're not going to need these, unless of course you want to wear them while you're making it. Bit too kinky for me. So to make my beef Wellington, I've got a 1 kilogram piece of steak. This happens to be topside, and be warned, this recipe only works with a good quality piece of beef. I've got 250 grams of mushrooms, very finely chopped. These are chestnut mushrooms, but any mushroom will do. 1 onion finely chopped, a beaten egg, 25 grams of butter, 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley, this is flat leaf parsley, and 1 crushed clove of garlic. Now some recipes call for the use of pate, and I just think it makes it a bit rich. Instead, I like to serve the pate as a starter for beef Wellington. And I also need some puff pastry. This is ready-made puff pastry. There's about 400 grams and it's already rolled. Now I'll give you a choice, because I'm good like that. If you like your meats really rare, heat a couple of tablespoons of oil in a pan really hot and then sear the meat all over for about 2 minutes. Seared. Or if, like me, you're not so keen on rare beef, you can do it the Ramsay way. You can pop the meat on a baking tray, brush all over with olive oil and pop it in the oven at 220 degrees C for about 30 minutes. And if it's good enough for Ramsay, it's good enough for me. Yeah. And 30 minutes later, there we are. Now I've popped this on a plate and I'm going to leave it to cool for about half an hour and then chill it in the fridge for another half an hour. While the meat's cooling, we'll make the stuffing by melting the butter in a pan, adding in the onions and sautéing them gently for about 5 minutes just to soften them. Once the onions have softened, add in the garlic and the mushrooms. Mix well. Now cook this on a low heat for 15 to 20 minutes to drive all the moisture out of the mushrooms. Once it's become all nice and soft, you can turn off the heat, add in the parsley, season with a little bit of salt and pepper, and mix well. Put the mixture into a bowl, then pop it into the fridge to chill. Now that everything's chilled, I've opened up my puff pastry, and I'm going to put a layer of the stuffing on one side. Make sure you leave a good inch margin all the way around. I'm going to pop on the beef and then spoon on the rest of the stuffing. Now my top tip here is to push the stuffing into the pastry a little bit and then fold the pastry over the meat. Push it all down, push it together. Now we'll try and make a nice neat parsley effect. Oops, stabbed it here, cutting away some of the excess pastry. Brush with beaten egg and fold up. Pinch the edges together, make a good tight seam. Do the same down the other end. Right, now I'm going to remove this off its paper and pop it onto a baking tray. Now brush it very firmly all over with the beaten egg. This will help to get rid of any little cracks and help the seams to come together better as well. Now I'll just make some very shallow cuts in the pastry so that we end up with a nice pattern. Now we'll chill this in the fridge for 30 minutes and then bake at 200 degrees C for a further 30 minutes. And there we are, nice shiny beef Wellington. Now I'm going to let this sit for 10 minutes before I cut it open. Beef Wellington, pink on the inside, delicious puff pastry crust and a wonderful stuffing. So let me stress again, this recipe only works with a really good quality piece of steak. The kind of beef that you use for pot roast just isn't going to do it. Or as Gordon Ramsay would say, are you trying to use some beef for Wellington? Or are you just a octopus biscuit? Join me next time in Titli's Busy Kitchen with me, Titli. Until next time, Khuda Hafiz.